morning and good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. We are here for the part B of our Teaching with 21st Century Technology series. And in today's session, we are going to take a closer look at the Lumi desktop app, which you were asked to download. And also, we are going to look at a couple of best practices, some tips and strategies to ensure that we use these tools well. My name is Michelle Stewart-McKoy, as you know, and Dr. Chisholm, I'm not sure if you would like to say anything or if I should just go into the meat of the matter.
Yeah, please go ahead. I'm just listening in at this time. Thank you.
All right. Thank you, Dr. Chisholm. So last week we started looking at the H5P software technology tool, and we found out that the H5P, H5P comes from the expression HTML5 package, and that it allows us to create interactive content. In fact, if we visit the site h5p.com or h5p.org, we will have an idea of just about the different types of content that we can make interactive. There are over 60 different content types. I think there's 63 in all. And so last week we got an insight. We created an interactive video and we went through the process of adding it to the Moodle platform. We also found out that we have to pay. So h5p.org is largely for us to see the different content types, or most of them, and get an idea of how they work. So they have examples. H5P.com, however, is where you would create your content, and there is a 30-day trial period after which you would have to pay. So we found out that there was a desktop app called Lumi, which facilitates the creation of H5P items that we could upload to our Moodle platform. So today we're going to start off with just one. I somehow miscalculated the time, thinking it was 2 hours. So we're going to do one of the common, one of the more popular types, and then we're going to upload it. We're going to actually create it in Lumi, and then we'll upload it, because last week when we were creating the interactive video, we used the add feature on Moodle. This week, we're going to use the upload feature. So I'm going to share my screen, share my Lumi, and we're going to do, as I said, one of the popular items. We are going to be creating an image hotspot. So we're going to be looking at how we can add different content to our hotspot. So let me start sharing my Lumi, and I'm just going to bring it over here. All right. Now, for those who had asked, I'm using 2 screens, so I may be looking away. So please open your mic and talk to me. For those who had asked if you had to register for the Lumi, you register if you are interested in using the clouds space that they have provided, and to be able to track the analytics for students whose work would have been on the system. Otherwise, you don't have to. We are downloading it and using it just for the creation of our files. All right. So something very simple. So when you click on Lumi, it opens the interface. I had pulled up. Where is it?
Michelle, you going to share your screen or not yet?
I am going to, no, I haven't started sharing it.
Okay.
I am going to be sharing it.
I just wanted to know whether that was deliberate.
Oh, no, not deliberate at all. My computer, I had to restart my computer, so everything is all over the place just now. I'm just trying to recapture. All right, so I'm about to share my screen. Let me share my screen. And you should be seeing. Yes?
Yes, that's what
Yes.
I'm seeing, yes.
All right, great. So when you open your Lumi for the first time, well, each time that you open it, you'll have two options. You'll have the editor and you'll have the Lumi analytics. We're not interested in the Lumi analytics. We're interested in the editor. So when you click on editor, it gives you two options where you open an existing H5P or you create one from scratch. If you click on create, it opens your canvas, your workspace, and you'll realize that this it's look very similar to what we saw on the Moodle platform, and certainly what we saw on the h5p.org and .com sites. All right. So these are all the different content which we can create. They're called content types. And the ones that you already have, that you have installed, will give you details. The ones that you don't have as yet will have get. And if you click on get, it goes through the process of giving you an overview of what it is all about. And then you simply click on install so that you have it on within the Lumi software that you can use after. So when it's finished installing, you will see use. There you go. You'll get the message that says successfully installed, and then you'll click on use. But I'm not interested in this one. So I'll just click back, and I'm looking for the hotspot image hotspot. And of course, we can do a search for it here as well. Hotspot, because there are so many. So this is the one that I'm interested in. So I'd click on details. And of course, it tells me what it is. You know, it makes it possible to create an image with interactive hotspots. And this is one of the beautiful things about the H5P. Everything that you create, every content type, is interactive. So your students are more engaged. And so it gives you a demo, and then you click on use. All right, so I'm going to click on use because we are creating our interactive image. Okay. And of course, this should look familiar because it is something similar to the steps that we went through with the video. So the title, I'm going to put La Familia. I was working on La Familia earlier, so La Familia, and then you would need your image because it is on the image that you'll be putting your different hotspots. So I'll click on add, and I have already selected an image, downloaded my image, and I've put it together. So this is my image. And then the newer versions of Moodle will ask for alternative text, and it is a good practice for sites that have issues loading. So I can just simply put a picture of a family of 4. All right. And then you have your predefined icon. If you click the drop down, you can actually upload your own icon, but we leave it alone. And then for the predefined, the hotspot icon, I'm sorry, for the predefined icon, the plus is the default, but if you click the drop down, you can change it to anything. So we'll change it to info, which when we open or interactive, it will be an I, the information I. And the hotspot color, you can change the color if you want. You can leave it as it is. All right, so if I change this, let's change this to a sort of blue. So you can decide, you can leave it at the purple, that's the default, or you can change it. Now, we are seeing our image, and this is where we start adding our hotspots. Okay, so if you pass your cursor over the image, I'm so sorry. Let me put this on vibrate while we do this. I'm sorry about that. So if you click on the plus, it zooms in on the image. Okay. Now you'll realize that there's a little pulsing green dot here. This is where, if you click to say this is where your hotspot will be, it will move it from where it currently is. So the first hotspot assumes that you want it there, but we want it here. So I click on the first person. This would be the first piece of information that I want to give to my students. And then you have the option whether or not you want the hotspot to cover the entire image. I do not want that in this particular case because there are 4 different images and I want to add 4 different hotspots, okay? Where it says header, it's some kind of text. I'm going to put father here and then pop-up content. So when I click, what will happen? I can select text if I want to put text, video, image, or audio that is already recorded, all right? So I'm going to put text and then I'm going to put something like the Spanish word is papa. Oops, 162. 160. Okay. Without the accents, it means
Potato.
all right. It would be la papa if it's potato. So because I have LL, I was thinking.
You can make it a little bit bigger.
Make what a little bigger.
I'm not seeing it, so it looks small to me.
It's in full screen mode.
Well,
So I would have to, let's see if
all right, okay, no bother.
You're good?
No bother, it's all right.
Okay, now I want to add something else to this. So I would click on add item, all right? So you can add as many items as you want. And this second item, I want to be an image. So I'll click on image and then I'll add the image. And there is my Pope. So this is the image that I want to add that will go with that, okay? When I'm finished, so I've just added the first hotspot. So we would have to do this for each hotspots that we have. So the second hotspot, so Dr. Chisholm has left us. The second hotspot would be added. So when you're ready for the second hotspot, you simply click on add hotspot and the image comes up again, all right? And then you click where you want the second hotspot to go. I want it to go on the mother, and then I don't want to cover. So you find that there is a repetition of the information, all right? And so my header here would say La Madre. And then my content type, I want this all to be text and text only. So I put my text right here. And I'm using the lorem ipsum. And then I'm going to add a hotspot. And then I'm going to put one just above them right there. And this is going to say La Familia. Let me say, una familia pequeña, ¿no? So, una familia pequeña. All right, and whatever it is that you want to put, you would put that there. And for this, I would have my text. So I'm going to put text below that. And I'll put in my text that gives some information about La Familia Pequeña and size of pequeña and so forth. And I'm going to add another item. I want to put a YouTube video that I want my students to go through, all right? So what I'm going to do, let me just bring this across so you can see what I'm doing. So this is my YouTube video that I want to use. Am I still with you?
Yeah.
Yes.
Great. All right, so I can copy the name of the video. So let me just copy the name of the video. And then I'm going back to my Lumi. So my content type that I'm adding here is a video. All right, and I put the title of the video here where it says untitled video. And then I'm going to need the URL. So this is the URL that I'm just to copy. And then I go back to Lumi, and where you see this little plus, you click the plus. If you had a video already that you wanted to upload, you would select the upload section. But this time, last week we uploaded a video. This time I am pasting the URL because we're using my YouTube. And then I click on insert. And then, of course, you can do this as many times as you want, add as many hotspots as you want. I am finished with this. I'm happy with what I have. So after I have done that, we were in editing. We're going to click on view so we can see what it looks like. All right. So this is what ours look like. If I click on this, it gives me the information. All right. And then it says that, and I can close it. If I click on this, it gives me the information about her. I read, can close it. And then if I click on this one, it gives me the information, and then it gives me the video. And if I click on the video,
Te presento a la familia Sanz.
all right. So I'm happy with that. No, I am not on the Moodle platform doing this. I'm in the Lumi app. So in order for me to have it saved as an H5P, I'll have to save this. All right. Now I would go up to File. When I go up to File, I can click on Save As, or I can use the Save. But I'm going to show you something before I click Save. If you click on Export, you can export it as an all-in-one HTML file, which means that if you're sending this to your students, all they get is an HTML file or a link, and it opens and shows everything. So you don't have to worry about them not getting the image because you didn't send it as a zip file or anything like that. On the Moodle platform, there's something that's called a SCORM package, which is like an all-in-one course. If you are interested in that, you can then select SCORM package, and it will export it as a zip file because all the different pieces are put together and are in what they call a zip package. All right, but we're not going to be doing that. We are actually going to be saving this as an H5P package. So you click on the save, and you go to where you want to do your save, and you call it test. I'm calling it test2 La Familia. Okay, please note it is saved as an H5P, and then I click save, and you would see the other files that I have in my folder. All right. So I'm finished with this. I'm happy with it. So now I jump across to my Moodle platform. Any questions before I jump across? Any questions? Any comments?
No questions as yet.
All right, great. So I go to my course, and this is my course that we have been using from last week. And remember that in order for us to upload our content, we need to focus on the content bank. So we go first to more, and we look for the content bank. And then last week, what we did, we added. So when we added, we saw all of these different things, and we would have gone through the steps that I just did. But this time we're uploading. Okay, so I click on upload. I click on choose a file. I can drag and drop as well. All right, so I am going to upload content bank. What am I doing wrong? I need to upload. I just did something wrong. Choose a file, or you can drag and drop. 1 second, I'm gonna drag and drop. I've always found it easier. So I call this, I'm going to my desktop, so I'm gonna look for my file, and I'm dragging it and dropping it right there. All right. Not sure what happened when I clicked on choose a file just now. Okay. And when you upload it, it gives you a preview so that you can make any changes. Now, you realize that I did not create it on the Moodle platform, but I still have the option to edit. So if there was something that I needed to change or to add, I could do that right now. Let me show you. All right, so I click on edit. It's opening the thing. And here I have my hotspots, but let us say that I wanted to add another hotspot. All right, I can simply click on add, and then I just move it across a little bit, and then I'll put La Hija. And then I put my text, my image, my video, whatever it is I want right here. Okay. That's not what I wanted. I wanted to put some text in. So let's try that again. There we go. And then of course, if I wanted to add an image or add a video, I could simply click the add items. So I'm going to save. And when I save it, it is reflected right there and there. So the fact that you're creating it outside and you have uploaded it, you still have one of the opportunities of adjusting it. And that's one of the things that I also love about the Lumi app. All right, so I'm happy with this, and I am going to click exit. Now remember, all we have done is added it to the content bank. We now need to go to the course and add our files. So it's I'm just going to put it here since we're working here. And I have to turn edit on because in order for us to add our files or resources, we have to turn edit on. So I'm just going to put it here. And we look for H5P, there it is. We name our activity. Our resource, it's a resource really, because we haven't put any quiz, anything in there, La Familia. And then we put a description if we want. This is where we add our files. So I click on it, carries me to the content bank. There is it. I select this. All right. And then my H5P options, I can decide whether or not the students can download it. So it's up to you. There are no grades associated with this one because I'm not setting it up as an activity for them to do. And attempt tracking allows the students to see how many times they went and looked at something. But because we don't have a grading assigned to this, I don't have to turn this on any at all. It really doesn't matter. And the rest of it is really up to you. Ensure that it is visible if you want the students to see it. And you can set your activity completions if you want, all right? And then you save and return to course. When you save and return to course, one of the things that I always encourage us to do is to view it as a student. So I'm just going to switch role to student so I can see what a student is likely to see. All right, so the student will see La Familia. And then it says that the file can't be displayed because it is uploaded by a user without the required capability to deploy H5P content. I have no idea what that means. So I will not view it as a student. I will view it as myself because that I can also do. It means that I don't know if you recall me saying that the CETL courses have not been migrated. We don't have students in our courses and so forth. And therefore that message may just be because I am not a teacher with a class and that has not been assigned. It's something that I will check out, however. All right. So because clearly I can view, tells me that the content is in preview mode. And so I will not be seeing any tracking. If I click on the information comes up just as I was hoping it would have. I would have this, all of this have the video, and then I have the different content that I would follow through. If you customize it, you can number it if you want them to go in a particular order. All right. So I have watched my video. I can go through my video. I'm happy with what I see. everything works, my student have information, and therefore I can do this as a resource and then follow this with an activity, or I can add an activity so that they do the activity before they come out of this. So this is just simply an image with hotspots that provide information. And as you can see, I can add different types of activities to it. Now, because I don't have any students over here, I am unable to show you the tracking. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to just jump over to the other site that I tend to use. I have made a duplication of the course so that you can see how it works. So here is the course. And in this course, I have some students, all right? So these are my students. And I can show this because they're all my name, different combinations of my name. So I can show you, and the email address is fictitious. So these are the students that I have in the course, all right? And so if I wanted to look at the activities that I have and to see what has been happening, what I do is I scroll to the respective area, all right? So I don't need to look at that because that doesn't carry an attempt at anything. What I need to look at are the other H5Ps that I had put up. So if I click on it, it will give me the same thing. So this was a drag and drop activity that I had prepared. I'm not interested so much in that. What I want to show you is that if you are on the Moodle platform and you click on the activity, you'll see something that says attempts report. All right. So this allows you to see how often your students access the information, the activity, the sort of responses that they had, whether or not they revisited after the first attempt and so forth. So it gives me all my students, and it also gives me the students who have attempted the activity and showing me the ones who did not attempt the activity. The report also gives me the score, all right? So all my students ended up with 100%. And this was because I had set it so that it is reflected in the gradebook, and I had used the highest score. Now, of course, you know that I can use an average of the score. So if they got 0 the first time and got 100 the second time, it would average out and give me a mean of 50%. So I had used the highest score. That is why everybody's getting 100%. But if I wanted to find out, all right, how well did they really do in the different attempts? I see here the number of attempts. So the number in parentheses tells me how many times they attempted the activity. So if I click on Stuart Allison's work, I see the attempts. It tells me that is the highest score that is used, and it gives me the latest score at the latest attempt at the very top. All right. So she got the maximum 4. She got 4. The maximum score was 4. It didn't take her very long, all right, for the third attempt. And so if I can take a look at the other attempts. Now, for those that have been that were completed, you see the tick. For those that were successful, it is highlighted. So this kind of report gives us quite a bit of information about our students' engagement. And the students, if you select it when you're setting up your H5P activity in your Moodle platform, the students will be able to see their report as well if you select that option. Now, I want to view the report where she failed, all right? So I click on it. It tells me what time she did it, told me that the attempt was completed, told me that it took X period of time, told me that she failed it because she got 0 out of the 4, and then it showed me the matching breakdown, okay? So she got 2 of the drop zones incorrect, 2 correct, all right? And that was her first attempt. If I go back, I can take a look at the second attempt, all right? And this is the second attempt. She got everything correct. But I do believe that she wanted to test herself again, because she went in again and she clearly has mastered this particular activity. So that is the report. That is what the report tells you. And the report gives you quite a bit of detail, so you can begin gathering information about students' weak areas, the questions that were problematic, the duration, how quickly they completed the activity, how many times they did the activity. There is quite a bit that we can capture when we go to the report. All right. Any questions? Any comments? Thank you for joining us, gentlemen.
Thank you for having us.
Any questions and comments, especially with the Lumi? All right, so then, ladies and gentlemen, this is where we are going to do a little bit of talking. There are a couple of things that we need to bear in mind. There are instances when, especially in the case of adjunct staff, where you may not have access to the platform right away, all right? And therefore, you can begin creating your H5P if that is what it is you want to do. And so the Lumi platform comes in handy here, because if your institution is, well, the Moodle embeds the H5P. But if you don't have access there as yet, you can use the Lumi software to create your activities external to the platform. And when you do have access, you can upload. If you're using the Moodle platform, ensure that you have your internet connection and you can add. Add simply means that you create the activities right there. The things that I tend to say to us is that, yes, from our engagement last week, we realized that this is an interesting tool. This is a tool that lends itself to quite a bit of engagement. We can use quite a number of different activities and resources into one simple activity. But we have to be mindful, why am I using H5P? Am I using H5P because it is a new tool, it looks nice, and I just want to add it there so that I can say I have used that? No, we have to start with the learning outcomes. What is it I want my students to do? If I want my students to be able to respond, to describe, to select, to identify, this particular tool would be useful. If I want my students to work at a pace, to engage in self-directed activities, and I provide them with the feedback, this is a good tool to use. But consider your learning outcomes, consider the time that you have. And when I'm talking about time, I'm talking about time to prepare the activities and time to engage, to allow the students to engage fully with the activities, okay? Think also, how am I going to integrate this onto the platform? So we can put it into a page, we can upload it as an activity. If we upload it to the as an activity, think about, how am I going to incorporate this in the gradebook? Am I going to incorporate this in the gradebook? If I am going to incorporate this into the gradebook, how much will I assign to it? What will be the weighting? For my students, my Spanish students, when I used to teach them, I realized that if I say this activity is just for practice, most of the students don't touch it. So we have something that we call an engagement task grade. And so I tend to put activities like these under engagement tasks. And I tell them that engagement tasks may only be 10%, but you never can tell when it comes on to the final grade. You may just need that 10% or even 5 out of the 10. So I put my activities like these under engagement tasks. You would have to have a discussion within your respective units about how you would treat something like this. The good thing is that it can be added to the gradebook. If it is added to the gradebook, the students can see their grades as a part of the bigger set of grades that you have. When we're using this particular set of tools, remember a number of things. There are 63 to 63, I think. I know that is more than 60. I think it's 63 different content types. The most common ones tend to be your course presentation, where you integrate within your presentation the content, a couple of questions, a video, more questions. So it parallels the lesson feature in the Moodle platform. All right. So the course presentation is a very popular one. The interactive video is great. The interactive video is another popular one. The hotspot, which I went through, is a popular one. The drag and drop. So there are a number of common ones based on the percentages of use. You can't use all of them at once. Okay, so select which ones you'd use, the ones that best fit the instructional modality, because remember, you can use this for synchronous sessions. You can also use it for asynchronous sessions. So select the one that best aligns with what it is you're doing. And then you develop. Don't just stick to the video because the video is there or the hotspot. Take a little time to explore the others and see how best they would work for you. Last week, I think it was Antoinette who shared the crossword puzzle. So the crossword puzzle, I've never set it up. I found it interesting. I tested it. I loved it. So explore the other features. Go beyond where you would normally be. Be reminded that if you're going to be putting this on the Moodle platform, there is a two-step process that you have to engage in. One, you have to add or upload content. And when we talk about adding content, it means that you go to your content bank, you click on add, and you go through the creation process. All right, or you create it externally, as we did with Lumi this week, and then you upload it to the platform. So you add or upload. That's the first step. The second step is then adding your activity, which is where you go to add a resource or activity. And then you do the second part, which is filling it in as if it is an activity similar to a forum or an assignment. If you're grading it, remember, ensure that you put it in the respective section of your grade book. You assign your grade, determine how many attempts you will give students, determine if you're going to have a pass mark or not. Allow your students to view the attempts report so they can get a report of how well they're doing, how often they're doing, so that they can see what it is that they have done. The other thing that I wanted to say to you is that it is called an H5P, and the P is package. Now, package simply means that there are several things put together. The images that I uploaded for my drag and drop or for my hotspot and my video, everything is punched together in this package. It means that when we select our images, we have to ensure that the quality is good. So it's not pixelated when the students open it. But the other thing is that we need to ensure too that the size is relatively small. If your image is so large or your video is so large, when the students go to the site to click on it, it's going to take a while for it to open. And if it's a case that you have selected the download option, it's going to take forever for the students to download. All right. So be mindful of that. You can compress your images or your videos at tiny PNG, that's for images, or compress now. It maintains very good quality of both images and your videos. So think about that when you're putting together the different pieces, when you're sourcing your images that you're going to use, your videos, and or even your recordings that you're going to include. All right. Explore with the activities, test them out with somebody else before you put it on the system. And when you put it on the system, if you have somebody who can take a look at it and test it, most times when we do it, we see exactly what we want, just to get some feedback on what you have done. And please incorporate the feedback. This allows our students to see how well they're doing, the areas that they need to focus on. Put this information in when you're putting your H5P together. All right. Between last week and this week, I just want to say that, as usual, this is just another tool that you can add to your growing set of your suite that you have. All right. So this is just another tool, nothing else. It means that because it is another tool, you have to go through the strategic process of how it is you're going to be using this. And don't forget tiers. Okay. Consider the time that you're going to need to set this up. Consider the time that you're going to need for the students to engage with it. Consider expertise. Start fooling around with it, explore, become more comfortable with it, but also reach out into your respective unit or external to your unit to find out if there is anybody who has this kind of expertise. Your settles are available as well, so you can reach out. We always have power users. Find if you have a power users. Consider access. Where are you going to put this if you're going to be setting it up? If my students don't have access to the Moodle platform just now and I still want to use this, how can I get it to them? Remember that the Lumi allows you to upload not just to the Moodle platform, but if you save it as an all-in-one HTML file, you can put it just about anywhere. You can drop it in a Google Drive or a Dropbox and share the link with them. So think about TEA, that the access aspect. Resources, think if you're going to need additional resources to help you create a suite of H5P activities, meaning human resources. If you're going to need to pay for a site that's going to house this, think about all of that when you're thinking, and of course think about the support. All right. Reach out to your students when you tested the first time. Find out if this is something that they would want to continue with. So find out if you have your students buy-in. Find out if you have the buy-in of your unit and of course your department as you go into setting this up. And always have fun. All right. I always say enjoy the process when you're going along, and enjoy it. The reason we facilitate, or rather the reason we should facilitate, should be to engage our students and we have fun along the way. So enjoy the process. Start small, do one at a time. If this is something that you're already used to and you have been using, you can then up your game by exploring the others. I'm almost sure there's nobody here who has gone through all 60 odd different content types. So extend and explore a little bit more. All right, so we have about 10 minutes before I let you go. I want to find out if there are any comments, any queries, anything you want me to repeat or redo just before I let us go.
All right, good afternoon. This is Alex speaking.
Hi,
You
Alex.
can hear me clearly? All right.
Yes, I
Just all right. I'm from Global Campus. Just introducing myself, a learning support specialist. You mentioned tiny PNG, which
Yes.
I've used before, but you mentioned another one.
compress.
After Compress no. All right. Because up to this morning I was going to tiny PNG. Their free one.
It's neat, isn't it?
It is very good. It is very good, but there's not a limit on the size, the maximum size you can upload, you can add.
Yes.
But there's no
In tiny PNG, I have not
Tiny
found limit in compress now as yet.
right. So I think that one was 5 megabytes.
Yes,
So
5.
I haven't used compress now, so I'm grateful for that one. I'll check that out.
No
Also,
problem.
you mentioned the P in H5P, right? The H in H5P is for, well, HTML.
Oh, yeah,
Correct.
so it's the HTML5
Five,
package.
right. So
Mhm.
I also want to caution because it's HTML5, it's web-based.
Yes.
And which means HTML code is being used. So smart students can actually utilize that H5P portion of it going to, if they know well, to
Mhm.
see answers, all right, before they actually do the questions.
Yes, yes.
So just to caution everyone here, especially if you're looking to use it for a graded activity, be careful because some smart students may be able to use the HTML code to see the answers.
Yeah.
So just wanted to caution that it's an excellent, very excellent tool. But
Thank
remember
you.
that,
Thank
especially if
you.
you're gonna wait, wait those H5P assignment very high. That's it.
Thank you so much for that. You know,
So,
the first time I found out about that, it was a student who showed it to me.
mhm,
And I said to the student, you know, my mommy has a way of saying is foul teach man how to tie rope on him foot. I said, why on earth would you always be looking for a way to cheat the system? So thank you so much for that. Yes, we do. The only thing that I am comforted by is that we don't have that many students who are so devious
mhm,
that would go take that route. But
mhm.
thank you. And that is indeed something that we need to be mindful of. And that also means that when we do that weighting, we can't give too heavy a weighting. Well,
Yes,
we should give too heavy a weighting to activities like these. So thank you
yeah,
so much for that, Alex.
you're welcome.
Anyone else? So Alex, you use Lumi or you use the H5P on straight on the Moodle platform or the website?
So I've never used Lumi before, actually. What I what I do is I would go straight to H5P in Moodle, or
Mhm.
if I see one of those templates that I really like, I
Mhm,
don't
mhm.
download the template, upload it to Moodle, and then make the adjustments there.
Oh, okay, okay,
Yeah,
okay.
but
Yeah,
Mhm.
I stumbled on the Lumi. I didn't mind it at all.
Oh, I'm glad I have downloaded it, so I'll check it out.
All right, great,
Thank you.
great, great. All right, ladies and gentlemen, any final words? All right. So I want to say thank you very much for coming out and to remind us that we now have another tool that we can think about using and think about when you test it, you know, as I said, get some feedback from your students to see how this can work. Be judicious in your use of technology. It's not about the technology, it's about the teaching and learning process. But if you can find a tool that can enhance that process, please, by all means, do so. And the H5P is a great tool. It doesn't necessarily mean that it has to be locked into a grade book. It can be simply set up so students can go through the content. It makes the content a little more easier to digest, and they can get feedback as they go along. They can engage in activities. It can be set up just for self-directed activities. But think about using it. If you do, give us some feedback on which ones you used and the kind of reaction that you got to it. But for now, this is another tool that we have. Our next workshop has to do with us more than it has to do with our students. So the next session that we have, which I think is March 27 at 2 p.m., we're looking at increasing our professional visibility via social networks and academic networking platforms. I think that's the title of it. But we're looking at how can we make what we do as professionals a little more visible using these academic networking platforms. So that is March 27, and we hope that you'll be able to join us. And that is it from me for today. On behalf of the CETL team, I want to say thank you very much and do have a good day. I'll send the recordings out when they're ready.
Thank you, Michelle.
My pleasure.
Thank you very much.
Yes, thank you. Very informative session.
Thank you
Thanks.
very much, Michelle. It was very informative. I learned quite a bit.
Oh, I'm happy to hear that. And I will be happier when I hear that you tested it. But this is
I've worked with H5P somewhat, but Lumi is pretty new to me.
Okay, all right,
Yeah.
great, great.